Welcome back to the H2O Spirit channel. Today we are going to be doing mathematics. And in this mathematics video, the topic we are going to consider is surd. So this is mathematics by the H2O. You're welcome to our YouTube channel. If today is your first time for coming across our videos, I would like for you to subscribe, share, and also click our notification bell so that our subsequent videos can get across to you. Okay, today we are going to be looking at surd. What is a surd? Surds are the square roots of arithmetic numbers that cannot be determined directly, or we could say that surd are the square root of irrational numbers. Don't forget that if I have the square root of 1, it will give us 1. The square root of 4 will give us 2. The square root of 9 will give us 3. The square root of 16 will give us 4. The square root of 25 will give us 5. The square root of 36 will give us 6. The square root of 49 will give us 7. The square root of 64 will give us 8. The square root of 81 will give us 9. And the square root of 100 will give us 10. Subsequently, the square root of 121 will give us 11. What do we call these numbers? These numbers are called perfect square numbers. The ones here are called irrational numbers. But when we are talking about surd, we are talking about the square root of those arithmetic numbers that cannot be determined directly. For instance, if we have the square root of 72, 72 is an irrational number because you cannot determine the square root of 72 directly. So what do you have to do to 72? What you have to do is simply to simplify 72 into two numbers, one rational and one irrational. For instance, there are several multiples of 72. Okay? But the one that shall be considered will be the one that of the two numbers, one we have square root and the other will be irrational. For instance, we have that 72 will give us 36 times 2. Yes, 72 will give us 36 times 2. Okay? Now, if you check very well, you will find out that the square root of 36 is what? 6. Then you have 6 root 2. This is how you can simplify surd. I told you that the square root cannot be determined directly or exactly. So we can take another number like 125. 125 will give us 25 times 5. And what's the square of 25? It is 5. So we have 5 root 5. Okay? Now, we can take another number because this is simply simplification of surd. You must break it into two numbers. One we have square root, the other will not have. Now, if I take another one like 12, don't forget there are several multiples that can give us 12. For instance, we can say 12 times 1 is 12. Okay? We can say that 4 times 3 is 12. And we can say that 6 times 2 is also 12. But which one of them is comfortable for this problem? The one that is comfortable is the one that have a number that you can determine the square root exactly, multiply with the one that the square root cannot be determined exactly. So that means we are taking this, okay? So that means 12 shall be 4 times 3, okay? If it is 4 times 3, the square root of 4 is 2, okay? And that will give us 2 root 3. Class, this is what we mean by surd. Surd are numbers whose square root cannot be determined exactly or directly. So it means that you must have to know how surd can be simplified. If you know the simplification of surd, then you can always solve problems involving solid. Okay, I think I will have to take one more example on the simplification of solid before we go into what we have for today or in our subsequent videos. And I think that one of the numbers we should consider is 81. Now, 81 is a rational number. Okay, the square root of 81 is what? Is 9. But if we have 81 times 2, that is to say, for instance, 81 times 2, this is 2, 1, 2. Okay, it means that if we have 162 here, what we should do, this becomes a irrational number. Okay, if you want to simplify this, you have the square root of 81 times 2. Don't forget, 81 is a rational number, but 162 is an irrational number and a solid. So what we'll simply do is that we get the square root of 81, which will give us 9. Okay, and then we have 9 root 2. This is what we refer to as the simplification of solid. Okay, now we are going to go over to what we call addition, subtraction, and simplification of solid. So we are going to take an example on that. We are going to look at addition, subtraction, and simplification of solid. Okay, addition, subtraction, and simplification of solid. We are going to look at addition, subtraction, and simplification of solid. Okay, now this question number 1 on addition, subtraction, and simplification of solid. Okay, they usually go together. And as you can see on the board, this is UME 1992, question number 6. How do we solve or simplify this simple problem? Like I told you, you will have to break the numbers here into 2 numbers. One we have a square, the other will be irrational. Don't forget that. So if you want to simplify this question, we have to go this way. Now, this is 5 roots 18. How do we break down 18? Don't forget, 18 can be 6 times 3. But if you check the square root of 6, it will give you a decimal. Same with 3, a decimal. But I think if you take 9 times 2, it will be perfect. Why? Because the square root of 9 is 3. So as long as you have one of them whose square root can be determined directly, you are correct. So we are going with this. We will say that 18 is 9 times 2. Okay? Then you have minus 3 roots. Remember, there are many multiples of 72. Same with your 18. If I have 72, what are the multiples? Remember, we can have 36 times 2. You get? If you break this, you have 6 times 12 also. So there are many multiples. But the one that is convenient is this. Why? Because you can easily determine the square root of 36. Okay? So that you have 36 times 2. Then we'll go over to the next one. 4 roots 50. Remember, if I have 50, it can be 5 times 10. But would this be comfortable for us? No. You cannot determine the square root of 5, then I can determine the square root of 10. So it will not work. It's better to go this way, 25 times 2, because the square root of 25 can be determined directly. So we'll do 25 times 2. If you have been able to do this, you are 1 step ahead of your success. So what do we simply do? We have that the square root of 9 is 3. So you can take the 3 to multiply the number here, so that you have 3 times 5 to give you 15 root 2 minus What is the square root of 36? The square root of 36 is what? 6. And 6 times 3 will give us 18 root 2. And then what the square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 4 will give us 20. So we have plus 20 root 2. Now, if we have gone to this extent, all we have to do, remember, you can add similar surd, you can subtract similar surd. If you have root 2 here, root 2 here, root 2 here, it means that they are comfortable for addition, they are comfortable for subtraction. So what do we simply do? We are going to say this is 15 minus 18 plus 20. They are all together. Then you can take just one of the surd, which is root 2. So if I have 15 minus 18, I'm probably going to get minus 3. And minus 3 plus 20 will give us 17. So our answer becomes 17 root 2. Okay? So the answer is not A, it is not B, it is what? C. So we are going to take another question again so that you see how. Okay, we are going to take another question. Okay, now look at the question again. We are told to simplify root 48 minus 9 over root 3 plus root 75. Okay, this is quite very cheap. It is quite similar to what we did in question number 1. Okay, the only difference is that this one has a root in the denominator. This is a fraction, and whenever you have a root in your denominator, please do not fail to rationalize first. For instance, if I have 4 over root 3, can this be my answer in any examination? No, I will have to rationalize it. Why am I rationalizing? Because of this denominator, which is a root. Whenever you have root in your denominator, you must rationalize. And to do that, you have to multiply it with root 3 over root 3. And that will give us 4 root 3. Root 3 will give us 9. And the square root of 9 is 3. So that's what you have. So please learn to rationalize whenever you have a root in your denominator. And that's what we are going to apply right now. Okay? So remember, root 48 can be broken down into several multiples, but the one that is comfortable is to break it to 16 times 3. That will give us 48. Then minus 9 over root 3. Remember, I told you to rationalize this. So you have root 3 over root 3. That aside, plus your 75 will give us 25 times 3. Remember, these have square root, these do not have. The square root of 16 is 4, and then you have root 3 minus this will give us 9 root 3 over root 3 will give us 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. So if you have root 3 is 3, root 2 is 2, root 5 is 5, because see, root 5 times root 5 will give us the square root of 25, and that will still give us what? 5. Okay, so go back, we find that root 3 will give us 3, plus the square root of 25 will give us 5 root 3. Okay, then we are going to get, here we have 4 root 3. This can cancel this to give you minus 3 root 3. And then you have plus 5 root 3. Remember what I told you, similar surd are comfortable for addition and subtraction. So we have 4 minus 3 plus 5. Then you take just one of the roots, root 3. 4 minus 3 is what? 1. 1 plus 5 is what? 6 root 3. So let's quickly go back to the options to see the answers to the question. The answer is not A, because this is 5. Be careful. The answer is what? B. Okay? We are going to take one more question. Probably I'm going to leave this question for you in this question number 3. You send your answers to me in the comment section. Okay? Now, these two other questions on addition, subtraction, and simplification of sort is left for you to solve. So what I want you to do for me is to solve these two questions, and then you send your answers in the comment section. Thank you very much. If today is your first time from coming across the H2O Spirit channel, please, if you want to be baptized in the spirit of mathematics, physics, and chemistry, subscribe to this channel, and please do not forget to turn your notification bell so that when subsequent videos comes, you will get our notification. Thank you very much. Hope to see you